Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pittsburgh Pirates franchise. I am recording this intro out of order because I realized in the original intro I did a bad job explaining what was going down. This episode is going to look a little bit different and is recorded in two parts, so you'll see a wardrobe change and then a wardrobe change back to this because the home run derby happened like right in the middle of this, so I stopped to watch that. But this episode is taking place during the draft. And along with the draft, we're also going to get ready A, to sign the people that we draft, and B, for the trade deadline, because that is coming up rather quickly. So I don't know how much gameplay is actually going to make it into the video today. For those of you guys that are more like roster heads, this video I think is going to be perfect for you because it's going to be all about the roster decisions. What do we want to do at the deadline? What kind of stuff are we doing to make the team better long term? Trades are probably going to happen both this episode and next episode. The trade deadline episode is going to be next episode. We're not going to get all the way to that. So most of this is going to be the draft and setting up for that. We'll play a couple of moments likely, but this is mostly a draft and like a roster construction episode for those of you guys that like that. So go ahead and leave a like, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching last episode. That did really well. Back to past Josh, so you guys can watch me draft. Well, I have no idea what's happening. Maybe give me some pointers for next time I do this, because oh my god. And we're just going to get straight into it. But first, we're going to talk about the roster for a second. So we do have a couple of injuries that have kind of changed what we're looking at consistently, but this is kind of where we're at. We have Triolo. It's not been great. Brian Reynolds is hitting a commanding 214. O'Neal Cruz has been very solid this year for us, honestly. Joey Bart's been bad. Nick Gonzalez has been a bright spot. Tommy Pham is gone probably by the end of the episode, but we'll see. Cabrian Hayes is hitting well. Jack Sawinski is who this is. Has stepped in pretty nicely. And then Spencer Horwitz. Somebody on the last episode said I should stop talking nicely about my players because they all get injured. And I don't disagree. So I'm going to try to be better about just roasting my players. McCutchen sucks. Fight me, Pittsburgh people. He's already been injured once. So break out the furries. So what are we looking to draft? Because we actually have some good starting pitching in the minors that's going to come up, I would assume, in the future. So these are trade pieces that we can use, and also probably the future. So I don't feel real compelled to pick a starting pitcher unless one is jumping out to me. Now, we did scout some just to do our due diligence, obviously. Try saying that 5 times fast. But I don't feel like we really need to because we have Bubba Chandler in the minors, who's a 70 overall. He's an A potential. Carson Reed has been pitching really well. Braxton Ashcraft is here. Carson Fulmer exists. And we have guys down here that I feel like can at least contribute on the major league level at least the point, and probably better than the pitching staff we just looked at. In my opinion, the first place we're going to look to improve is first base in the draft, if there's one available. Obviously, there should be. It's a draft. There'll be a bunch available. But if there's a good one, I'm hoping to be able to snag one because first base right now for us is just such a trouble spot. Spencer Horwitz has gotten some run this year for us. He has 125 at bats. He didn't start in the big leagues. We called him up last episode. It hasn't been great, and everybody behind him, the potential just is not fully there. The outfield is another spot we just have to improve. There's not a lot outside of Connor Griffin out there to get super excited about in any way. So, first base, some kind of outfielder. I'm always going to take a reliever if there's one available, but that's what we're looking at for the draft, at least right now. All right, we've added a bunch of prospects that we'll talk about as we draft them, hopefully. And we're just going to go to the draft, and we're going to see what it looks like, because I actually haven't done this in franchise this year for any team. We're at least going to see who the number 1 overall pick is, and it is Edmund Cobb, who is a guy that I was looking at. I'm actually going to move my camera. And Edmund Cobb actually was a guy we were looking at. He looks really good. I'm interested to see what his overall winds up being. All right, and we are here. We have 4 minutes to make our pick. And We have options here, obviously. We're the number 6 pick in the draft. There is the number 1 player in the draft available. We don't have him scouted because I kind of thought he was going to go, and he's real tempting to me because he's a center fielder. The high potential is real interesting to me. We don't know how motivated he would be to sign, and I would like for the first player we draft to be able to sign. He's 21. And I just don't know that we want to do that this early. Actually, you know what? We're going to take Derek Handy. He looks good. The potential's better than Ramos. He's younger than Ramos. He's not as good right now, but I think he'll eventually get there. He's 18. He plays the outfield. I just kind of think he's going to be like a contact guy. And I think that's okay for what we need. He looks kind of weird. He looks like a James Bond villain's henchman. But we are going to go ahead and take Derek Handy with our first pick of the draft. We'll see how good he is, I guess, after the draft when we go try to sign all these people. Maybe we'll go Fellows. We'll go first base. We said we wanted to improve first base. This would be a big prospect to add. So we're going to go ahead and take Brian Fellows in the draft. He looks interesting. He looked good in the scouting stuff, so we'll see how that actually turns out. He's not going to be very good right now, but I do think in the future there's a real shot that he winds up in the big leagues making a big impact for us on the field. All right, we are going to go ahead and take Doug Morgan because he looks pretty good and he's only 18. The potential is not crazy. I do think it's enough to probably be a good prospect for us in the minor leagues. We're going young, and I think that's kind of the way I want to do things. Give him some time to develop because it's going to be a minute, I think, before the roster's super ready to compete. So hopefully by then, Doug Morgan will be able to contribute for us on the field. Now we're going to go Tom Chu. We're going to give him a shot. I don't know why he's fallen this far, but we're going to go ahead and draft Tom Chu, an international prospect. He looks okay. All right, we are out of players on our board, so now it's time to just start taking shots in the dark. And a relief pitcher, I'm never going to say no to. So what is up, my man? We're going to go use Neil Mesa. Drafted strictly for the name and the glove. Got the ice cream cone glove here to save Pittsburgh. I do wonder about the catchers available, and George Steen looks crazy. So does Connor Bell. They're probably a little old for as bad as they potentially look, but like maybe they can develop. I don't know. I'm an optimist, as you all know. We're going to go ahead and take Mr. Eric Chen here and just see how we go. Hopefully we hit on something. I think again we're going to take a flyer here on a catcher and hope that it hits. And I think that catcher this time, I do think this catcher this time is going to be Richard Yamamoto. Because hopefully that helps us recruit his cousin Yoshinobu in the future. Save this clip for in 5 seasons when he's available to be drafted, to be signed, or traded for. I guess he's always available to be traded for. We'll have till August 1st to sign our players. I lose my rights. I don't want to lose my rights. What is this, the government? That was a great joke. Leave a like for that. All right, we have made the home run derby, and I just want to see who's in it. It's Yordan Alvarez. Brent Rooker is here as the Atlanta guy, shockingly enough. Also in the normal home run derby. Aaron Judge, Santander, Juan Soto, Alec Burleson, Mookie Betts, and Corey Seager rounds out the field. And I don't care enough to simulate and watch that, so leave who you think would win that in the comments. Also, I forgot to turn my light on, so maybe now y'all can see my face. But Griffin Jacks, a big trade from Minnesota to the Mets, and they get Brett Beatty in return, and that's a very interesting trade to me. That genuinely, it kind of feels like one that might happen, like could happen in real life. I don't know that it would, but it's like at least not so outlandish that you're like, no shot. And we have a player in the All-Star game, as we're supposed to. We're at least going to go in. We're going to see what that looks like and who it is. The All-Stars, at least in the National League, are Jameson Taillon, Zach Wheeler, Corbin Burns, Hunter Green, Ronaldo Lopez, Jose Alvarado, Anthony Bender is here from the Marlins, Kyle Finnegan, Edwin Diaz, Raisel Iglesias, Ryan Helsley, and then Tony Santillan is here, which means, notably, Paul Skeens is not here. So I wonder who our representative is in the game. The starters for the National League are Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Mookie Betts, Brent Rooker, Juan Soto, Tatis, William Contreras, Brendan Donovan, and Spencer Steer. And our all-star representative is Nick Gonzalez. Good for him, honestly. He's hitting 270, having himself a pretty good year. That's our All-Star game representative. Again, don't care enough to jump in. If Paul Skeens was there and starting, I probably would have pitched an inning, but it's fine. You know, we are going to see who made the Futures game, or if anyone made the Futures game. We got a banger All-Star game. The AL beat the NL 10-7. I suspect Connor Griffin will be one of them. Bubba Chandler is here. He made the team. Good for us. And you know what? I think we are actually going to start Bubba Chandler in this game and pitch an inning, because why not? It's my franchise. I do what I want. A lot of the normal suspects you would see. Connor Griffin actually does get to start in center field, so maybe we'll play a little bit. We're going to move him up in the lineup. Just to get to him a little faster. Good for us. We got a couple of guys in. We're going to hop in just for a second. And we are here in Hotlanta, Truist Park, for the Futures game, at least momentarily, as we get some sick-looking uniforms. We get to start with Bubba Chandler in the Futures game. How sick is that? He's not had an incredible year, but I guess he's been good enough. There's his numbers there. I believe he's in AAA for us, which feels like one I should know off the top of my head. As the guy, and we start with the pitch clock violation because I was messing with something on my computer. That's my bad. This is actually going to get filmed in 2 parts because the Home Run Derby is happening tonight as I record this. It's all going to be in one video, but I will have changed clothes. As you guys, I know you guys are like big on the whole wardrobe changes in videos. I know that's something everybody thinks about. We get a strikeout here on Enrique Bradfield. And here's Roman Anthony. I guess in this world, he hasn't made the Red Sox roster yet, but he is here in the Futures game. Sitting 249 this year in Sim in AAA for them, if I had to guess. I don't know, but I would tend to believe that's true. We get a strike here to make it 2-2. Can we get the strikeout with Bubba Chandler to make it 2 in a row? And that one's kind of sliced a little bit foul. We're going to try a curveball just for vibes, just to see how we're feeling. And he doesn't chase it. Chase DeLauder is on deck here. And we get Roman Anthony looking on the outside corner. What a pitch by our guy, Bubba Chandler. Just a great pitch. Not a whole lot else to it. And it brings up Chase DeLauder, who hammers one. Foul. Remind me not to throw a fastball up and into that guy again. As that one is grounded to Eldridge, who ends the inning. And it's 1-2-3 for Bubba Chandler. We have to face Noah Schultz for a second. That's what it looks like. We have to face Noah Schultz. I was going to skip to Connor Griffin, but we got the opportunity to bat with somebody named Jesus Made, and we just have to take that. I don't know. He's from Nashville. Jesus Made? Like he's not going to hit a home run right now? I mean, we're locked and loaded here. He's hitting 421. Dear, what is happening with this guy? Maybe he really is Jesus Made. He is, in 19 at-bats. I guess he just got called up. As he pops one into right field. Is it going to fall? It's not. That man just robbed Jesus. What are we doing? There's a lineup. The guy we care about is Connor Griffin. We're probably just going to skip to him if we're honest, because it's Pirates franchise and I don't super care about Jefferson Guerrero. That's fly ball to Connor Griffin, who has an opportunity to make a play. And he does. And he's hitting next inning. Boy, things are coming up like roses. However that saying goes. All right, here is Connor Griffin. He has no stats because he's in single A. He's just 18. Could he play in double A? Maybe. But he's developing well enough down in single A that why would I test it? His attributes also aren't crazy. I know he has the AAA helmet on for Indianapolis, but that's just not where he's playing right now. As you guys can see, it's Greensboro, who, as I record this, has thrown 2 perfect games in the last 9 days. Where is that in our franchise? Guys, lock in. This Griffin, I mean, for him, hits it pretty well to center. Attribute-wise, he just is never getting that out to dead center. All right, we get another shot here with Connor Griffin. It's his 3rd at-bat. And we're facing Cam, and Nitty. And we actually have a lead. It's 3-1. And Connor Griffin has an opportunity to be absolutely electric on the hill, or at the dish, not on the hill. I'm so used to on the hill for Pittsburgh. That's the only place that things happen. And it doesn't work out this time, but maybe next time. And we have defeated the American League 4-1. So good for us. I feel very excited about this very meaningful win for our franchise, obviously. Look at us go. Boy, oh boy. All right, so a semi-notable trade here is Royce Lewis, who somehow has progressed to an 87 overall, is now a Dodger for Alex Freeland and Austin Gauthier, if you will. And I certainly will. All right, we can now, for the first time, sign our draft picks, which is pretty legendary, some would say, as we are now at July 18th. We play the White Sox, but that's not the most important part. We're going to take a glance at our signing. So we get 3 spots here for priority. I think the biggest one we're going to do here is Derek Handy. It's important to me that we're able to get him. He's only 18. He wants 6.9 million, which nice. But also he has good potential, we think. He's going to be a contact hitter. He's going to have good fielding. He's going to do a lot of things well for us that I think we need out of an outfield position, because our outfield is not the most strong in the world, if we're honest with ourselves. So I think this is going to be important. And even if he's just a C overall and only gets to mid-70s, right now, that would be one of the better outfielders that we have. Obviously, he's not going to be that at this point, although his bat may play. Just the rest of him likely won't. It's important to me that we're able to get him. We drafted him in the first round. It wouldn't be catastrophic if we don't get him, but it would probably be good if we were able to. So I'm going to stick him in slot 1 so that we can get the motivation, because you get +6 motivation per every 2 days. You guys know how to do this. We have 14 days to sign people, +6 motivation per day. So I'm going to try to get the motivation a little bit higher before we send him an offer. And then the next guy that I think I'm interested in, for a lot of similar reasons, is Doug Morgan, another outfielder. He was our 2nd round pick. He looks like he's potentially going to be pretty decent right now, even as an 18-year-old out of high school. Has one hell of a beard for an 18-year-old, if we're honest, but he's going to be a burner, and I would like that on the team. Again, his contact looks pretty good. If his power can even come close to the high end of what the projected is, even if it's like, I don't know, low 50s, that's going to be good enough where Doug Morgan is going to be a pretty dynamic player, I think. It's not the highest potential of all time, but I do want him on the team and in the organization, even if he's not a major leaguer right now, because to me, looking at his card, the overalls, there's a world he's ready, I mean, pretty soon. I actually think this reliever looks pretty good. my man use Neil Mesa, and we have been complaining that we need bullpen help. So I do think that that is actually one we're going to do, and we'll see. I'm not going to offer on anybody yet, but I think we're in a good spot here to go ahead and advance to the next time. I also don't mind on the third slot scouting Mesa a little bit more. I think that would be a general win overall, but we'll see how we go. Okay, the other thing we're going to do is set up we're going to update our trade block. We have a lot of guys, and we're going to go into rosters so we can look at guys first. We have a lot of guys that I just don't think are going to be here long term. Dennis Santana, I feel like I wouldn't mind shopping, but the deal would have to wow me. He's an 82. He's regressing a little bit somehow. He hasn't had a great season, so maybe this would be the time to sell high on him because you're sending him with another year of arbitration, and that would be valued at least somewhat. I think Jason DeLay is somebody potentially that we would look to send. He's 30. He's not going to be here long term, likely. I think Adam Frazier is a guy that's got to go. He's on the last year of his deal. He's not really doing anything for us at this moment. I mean, he is. He's kind of playing, but he's not a difference maker. He's not going to be here long term. As much as I love Adam Frazier, I think he's got to go. He's also, I guess, in theory, kind of blocking Tamar Johnson and Nick York, who are coming up behind him because we project Gonzalez to play short, likely, is where he's played a lot of his games this year and has been pretty good. He was our only all-star. It's something, I think it's Frazier. I think so far, going through the roster, it's Adam Frazier and maybe a couple of pitchers. We're not even really in a great spot to be able to trade prospects outside of pitchers because we really just don't have any. I think Kiner Falefa likely has to go because he's in the last year of his deal, and again, it's just not doing anything for us. He's riding the bench because Nick Gonzalez is playing every day, because I would rather Nick Gonzalez play every day. He is just here for longer. He's probably the franchise shortstop, and Kiner Falefa is getting paid a lot to sit on the bench. And I do actually kind of think he would bring in some amount of prospect pool. So that's going to be a guy that we look to add. Obviously, Tommy Pham is gone. Potentially DJ Stewart. And honestly, outside of a few like just depth pitchers, and by depth pitchers, I'm looking at guys like Andrew Heaney or Mitch Keller. I guess Mitch Keller we keep because he feels like part of the future. But like Bailey Falter or people like that, where it's just we have guys coming up behind them. I'll let you know what pitchers I land on, but that's kind of the direction that I think I'm headed towards currently. And we're just going to update the depth chart quickly. All right, this is subject to change later in the episode, or even trade guys that aren't on this list, but here's the guys we landed on. It's Andrew Heaney, Bailey Falter. I just think there's guys coming up behind him that are going to be able to replace him pretty quickly. I'll cite Jared Jones. I'll cite like Ashcraft. Even Thomas Harrington has been pretty good for us. We have pitchers that are going to come up and be able to do stuff. So I don't think Bailey Falter fits for us long term. And for the same reason, Modzinski. I just don't see a long term path for him here unless we convert him to a reliever. And I just don't see a way that we do that in a real effective way. Again, because we have so many young pitchers, it's one of our strengths. We have a lot of young pitchers, and I would love to be able to convert some of them at least to being pieces in the pen when we are good. And also, I would like to keep some of them to trade down the road when we need a major league guy and just add like an impact bat at a deadline here down the road. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I haven't gone through the pen yet, but I need to. David Bednar strikes me as a guy that probably needs to go at this point in time. And that's the only guy that comes to mind right now. Maybe Caleb Ferguson. He hasn't been great, but I guess see what he would maybe bring in. I think Holderman can stay. I think Tim Miza. I don't know what he would get, but I would listen. Joey Wentz, I think we keep. He's been good. Chase Sugard, I think I'm keeping. Justin Lawrence, I think we'll keep. I think there's like pieces in the pen, but we could improve. Basically, anybody with an expiring contract, we'll get rid of. Dennis Santana, I haven't decided yet. I may try to manually trade him and just see what we can get, what the top end of that is, but I'm thinking about it. And then our position players we landed on were Adam Frazier. Again, he just isn't playing. Kiner Falefa, for the same reason, is not playing, and I'm hoping we can get some decent prospects, maybe at least like see potential guys to add depth to some of our positions that are just so thin. And then Tommy Pham, of course. And that's pretty much where we stand right now on the trade deadline. We offered our draft picks, or we didn't offer them, but we're in that 2-day period with Handy, Morgan, and Mesa. So we're just gonna keep going, see how we do. I think Doug Morgan will offer as well at this point, 61%. All right, we are 2 days into drafting. We have 12 days to sign all these people. And I think I'm going to go ahead and offer Doug Morgan a contract. He wants 1.2. I actually think I'm going to bump that quite a bit because I don't think we have a lot of guys that are going to want a lot, and we do have the budget to do this. So I'm going to bump it by 400,000, and I'm just going to see what this kind of does for him. He's at 65% motivation to sign, so I think we have a pretty good chance to get him. I just don't want him to walk away because I do think there's a world that he's really, really good, really, really young, and I think having a tool like that in the prospect pool is going to be good, and he declines it, unfortunately. So that's a little bit tough, but it's okay. That's why we did it early. I think I'm going to wait on Handy. I think I may offer Mesa just to see what happens here. As I bump it up, obviously his motivation to sign goes up. I'm going to try to get it to 70%, see what happens with him. And he goes ahead and he signs, and we have our first draft pick. And I think he's going to be pretty good, a lefty reliever. The potential I like a lot. He's a little older for a prospect, but that's okay. I think he'll have some time to develop, even if he's like, again, high 70s potential. I feel okay about it. I don't know that he'll be super playable right now, but I do think potentially he's the guy for us. And he's the guy with the snow cone glove. So you can't discount that, obviously. That also means, though, that it opens up another thing for us to do. It has another spot for us. The only other guy in this pool that I'm super, super keen on, I guess there's two. There's Tom Chu, but I'm not the most keen on him. We have a lot of pitching, although he is super young. But I think Brian Fellows is a guy that we want to focus on to some degree. I do think I'm going to wait a second to offer him, maybe scout him a little bit more. But we'll see. We'll see how we go. We have time. We have 12 days. So we're going to advance another couple of days and see what happens. All right, we are not winning a lot of games currently. We are at 33 and 68, but that is okay. We're probably going to make it all the way through to the 26th, and then we'll call it a day and get ready for the trade deadline next episode. So I don't actually know that all these guys are going to get traded right this second. And we're going to go back into our draft picks. Brian Fellows is now fully scouted. He doesn't look very good now. And he also doesn't look crazy in the future. But the potential is kind of there. And I don't know where they're getting that from because he doesn't look crazy outside of the glove. I guess the power is more at the high end than the low end. There's a world that's pretty good. I guess I'm not as in on him as I thought. I don't know if that's like a must sign. So we may have to wait on him. Doug Morgan, we're still going to wait on for a second. I kind of think we're just going to sit on all three of these for a second. And the Mariners are offering us a trade. We're going to see what it is. It's Mitch Garver for Cameron Mlodzinski. Garver does have another year of control left. He is someone we've brought in before on a series many years ago. 12 million isn't bad. He's 34. Do we want him to play? Andy Rodriguez is still out for 3 to 4 weeks. Joey Bart is here. It's not a prospect, but it is a pretty significant jump at catcher, which I don't hate. He immediately turns into our best catcher. That potentially next year lets Andy Rodriguez play some first because he has progressed really nicely. And then Joey Bart has another year to sit there, I guess, or split time, as does Henry Davis. And maybe we look to move off Henry Davis if we bring Garver in. It's a real thought provoking one. I could decline this, right? And I certainly see the argument for that. I don't know that we get a lot better for Mladzinski than Garver, because Garver is a guy that we could potentially re-sign at the end of next year, and he's the DH replacement for Kutch, and we just need bats so bad. I do think actually I've talked myself into I think we're just gonna take Garver here, and we're gonna be okay with it. He's kind of trapped behind Cal Raleigh. For them, it makes sense because Henry Ford would be able to come up in this world. He's getting worse, but he is still probably one of the better bats we have. He's hitting 272. It's a good middle of the order bat to get better now and have a good middle of the order bat for next year. So I think we're going to take this, actually. And I feel okay about that. I'm going to go in and adjust the lineups here in a second. But yeah, genuinely, I feel really good about that trade. And I think he's just going to start over Bart because it's been bad and he's getting worse. I think some time away for my man Bart is going to be good. And that honestly, that lets us probably trade Jason DeLay. I still need to move Pham. That will likely happen next episode. But I don't know. I feel okay about where we are roster wise. There's going to be a lot of roster turnover next episode. And we won our last game. So that's always a win. Oh, I want to also put him in against lefties, I think. He immediately is like our best hitter on the roster. I think we have to take that. Oh, I wonder. This is something I should for sure know. Yeah. I guess we're calling up a pitcher likely is the way that's going to go. And that pitcher is probably going to be. I'm trying to decide if it's worth bringing him up right now or not. The problem is he's developing fairly nicely in AAA, and I don't super want to mess with that at this point. And he's still super young, as is Harrington, as is Burrows. I would like to propose the idea to myself that Oviedo is the guy we call up because I think he's closer to being done developing and he can just slot in is I think what is going to happen there, and that lets probably Carson Fulmer start in AAA again, and we likely call up Sean Sullivan. I've tried to talk this through to make sure all this makes sense to me before we do it, although we could just have Carson Reed start. That does actually interest me. He's young. I would like to see what he's got. Also Barco. I think we're going to call up Oviedo. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we call up Oviedo, and then one of these two guys is going to start in AAA. So I'm going to make that change real quick. We do, though, now have one too many guys in the big leagues. So Jason DeLay is going to get moved down because that experiment didn't work as good as it could have. And so now that we have all of that squared away, I need Oviedo to slot in, and we're going to start with Carlson Reed. I think has earned a 2.25 ERA. Yeah, we're going to start with Reed. It will make a note to check probably at the beginning of next episode because this episode's just about to be done. So I feel okay about that. We're going to go through one more day and we can sign our draft picks once again. We're in a decent spot here. Doug Morgan, everybody's just creeping up. Doug Morgan, like we could get potentially if I just blow him out of the water, maybe with an offer. Because this I feel like is a fair amount of money. Again, we have kind of the budget for this, I think. I should probably make sure that that's actually true. Yeah, we're good. We still have a lot of money just in the actual budget. And I know there's like a threshold for that, but I want to make sure the Garver deal, like I know we have 12 million, it says in the top left, but I wanted to make sure we didn't do something dumb with Garver that it like blew our budget. I still think the Garver trade would be worth it, but I wanted to make sure we had the money to offer to these guys. I think I'm going to offer Doug Morgan again, just the largest contract we can, and see if he takes it. And he declines again. I think we need to wait on him. I guess that's the way that's going to go. So yeah, we're just going to keep advancing, see how we go. Maybe we'll throw an offer here at Fellows. I mean, we could offer quite a large deal to Fellows. I'm not super in on him. I think 1.6, 1.7 is fair for him. I think I like the potential a lot. I don't love the current overall. I don't know that he develops at a quick enough rate, but I guess we'll see if he takes this, and he doesn't. We're still going to wait on Handy. That's the big one, obviously. Yeah. And we're just going to advance a couple more days here. And the White Sox are offering us a trade, and it's Mike Tauchman for Adam Frazier. Does that help us at all? He's 34. He's on the last year of his deal. He's not hitting very well. It's just Tommy Pham, but again. Also, he has a broken ankle for 2 more weeks. I'm out. And I guess this might just be how the episode ends. We're going to try to drive in a guy with Adam Frazier. Might be his last appearance on the channel as a Pirate. He was a Pirate. And the next episode we'll do more. Down a run here in the bottom of the 9th. And we're late because I haven't touched a controller in a minute. In an in-game situation specifically. And we're taken outside. Mitch Garver, newly acquired, is on base. So far, we're working a pretty good count with Adam Frazier. I really do love Adam Frazier. He just doesn't fit the roster, what we need right now. I know he just got moved in real life, and I think that was back to Seattle, potentially, or Kansas City, one of the two. So hopefully that works out for him. But we're 3-1 here, taking for strike 2. Need a big swing here, Adam. Need a huge swing to drive in a run. And we foul it off. That's better than nothing. Lefty is a tough draw for him, but we're staying alive in spite of my best efforts to not. And we swing underneath the fastball. That one's on me. That was right down the middle. And we just didn't get to it. But it brings up our All-Star, Nick Gonzalez. He was our representative in the All-Star game earlier this episode. And he's going to hammer one to center. And it is not going to be deep enough as we lose to the Arizona Diamondbacks to end the episode. Which is tough. That is how it goes sometimes. But I do believe that is going to do it for the episode. We have 7 days left to sign some draft picks. The trade deadline is coming up next episode. You're not going to want to miss it. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of the episode, let me know who we should add, who makes the team better. But thank you guys for watching. We'll catch y'all in the next one.